What's going on, everyone? All right, let's not even sugarcoat this, guys. Wonderland time took a massive blow over these last couple of days, guys. It has been absolutely insane what happened yesterday. We saw an absolutely massive dip. We were trading sideways for about 2 or 3 weeks around that $2,000 to $2,500 range. And then just yesterday, we hit a low of $873. And then finally, the buyback did eventually kick in and raise us back above the backing price. And everything looks like it's somewhat stabilizing kind of slowly on the trend back up. So in this video, we're going to be talking about what the hell even actually happened yesterday, what caused this massive price drop to happen, and why I actually don't care about this that much, and why you maybe should not either, because we have a lot of pretty bullish news going on here in the Wonderland ecosystem. So make sure you stick around to the end of this so I can tell you all about it, including a CEX listing coming soon here in the upcoming weeks. So a lot of bullish stuff going on here in the Wonderland ecosystem. But first, let's talk about what happened with this price action. Okay, so we're just here on CoinMarketCap right now looking at the listings. So as you can see here, starting in, beginning of January, we were just kind of trading along that $2,000 range, somewhere in the 2000s. Everything was looking okay, wasn't all that bad. And then obviously yesterday we had the insane dip where we went from $2,000 all the way down to $873. Pretty brutal what ended up happening here, guys. So let's talk about exactly what happened. So what happened here that started to cause this mass sell-off and mass panic is really just human psychology in a sense here. Because what happened here is we started to see these big whales basically dump their time bags here around this price range right now. Big whales started to dump their huge bags on all of us, causing the price to dip down quite a bit. And obviously, once that price action starts moving down that fast, that's going to cause a lot of people to instantly start to panic. So what happens, of course, all the, paper hands started selling all of a sudden, dropping all of their bags on us as well. Because, they're just the speculators, the swing traders in there, the paper hands, and they had to get out quick to save their positions. And that, that hurts us long-term holders in the short term, but long-term, it doesn't really matter that much. So those paper hands and the whales all started to dump. And then what we see happening here is because the price is dumping down so quickly, what's not happening is that everyone who is leveraging their time or their memo, I guess, on Abracadabra, their positions are starting to very quickly, very rapidly get liquidated. All the people who are probably way too over leveraged all of a sudden start to get liquidated here, and we see that price drop even more because when a liquidation happens, all of their time instantly is sold and hits the market. That's to protect them and to protect the actual selling platform like Abracadabra to make sure that they don't lose money, right? So what happens is they get liquidated and now more people start to panic sell because the price keeps on dropping. Then we see right here, right around this $1,400 to $1,300 range, this is right where the backing price of time actually was. And so a lot of people who are leveraging, they set their leverage price to a little bit below the backing price because in theory, right, the time should never be able to trade below its backing price. But that's actually not exactly how backing prices work. They're not automatic. It doesn't automatically happen. It's a manual thing that has to be initiated. We see it dip below the backing price, and then below that backing price, liquidations galore start happening. Almost everyone in the leverage position gets liquidated because even though they put it well below the backing price, it doesn't matter because we dropped like $500 below that backing price where no one thought it would be able to even theoretically go. And then as you see here, we hit that bottom of $832, and then the buyback was finally initiated and manually started to happen, and we see that price bounce back up to around that $1,300 fairly quickly within probably 30 or so minutes as the buyback is happening. Now, like I was saying, that buyback is not automatic. A lot of people think that that is an automatic thing that is just in the code for the project, and as soon as the price dips below that, it instantly shoots back up. A buyback is initiated manually by the team, and it requires multi-signature from all of the team founders and just anyone who's on the board, I guess, for the team. And that can be a little bit tricky to get going because all these people live in different time zones. So some of them were asleep, some of them were awake. So you got to get everyone to get online, sign off on the multi-signature form, and get that buyback initiated manually. It's not automatic at all. So the TLDR version of this right here, right, is that the whales started dumping their bags, the paper hands started to really panic and dump their positions. Over leveraged positions started to begin to liquidate. Time falls below the backing price, causing even more liquidations to happen, causing the price to seriously crash down to that 830 whatever dollars. Now that's the bad of what happened. So now let's talk about the good and why I'm still actually really bullish on time and what they're doing to seriously change the game as we know and stop dilution, which is obviously the biggest factor in keeping the time price down, because every 8 hours new tokens were coming to the market, which is always putting an intense downward pressure on the time price, because obviously as all these more time tokens start coming in the market, the more there are, the less your time is going to be worth. So you're always finding this intense downward pressure. So as of today, Sifu just announced, just a couple hours ago, about 8 hours ago, Sifu just announced who manages the $1 billion treasury. He tweeted and said that dilution has been eliminated, meaning they have stopped minting and creating new tokens for rewards. The rewards are now going to be paid out of the treasury to stop the dilution for good at this point. And this is amazing because, like I said, this is going to help stop that downward pressure of new tokens being minted and always coming onto the market. And also what happened here, I can't find the tweet. I believe it was in the Discord channel. He tweeted out. Maybe I'll pull up a screenshot of it here if I can find it, if I can scroll up far enough to find it. But also the supply of wrapped memo has been capped. So before it was not capped, meaning that it was always adding new wrapped memo to the pool. But as of now, the supply of memo has been capped, which will completely stop dilution for wrapped memo. Which, by the way, if you have not wrapped your memo already, you should go and do that right now. It is extremely easy. As you can see here on the Wonderland site, they're moving their whole focus away from time pretty much completely, and they're pushing towards wrapped memo because this really benefits the Wonderland ecosystem. So it's really, really easy to wrap your memo. Literally just here on the site, just click on wrap and it'll pull up your stuff. You'll have to approve it, obviously, and then you'll click wrap again. And then boom, just like that, you'll have wrapped memo. This does not change anything with the amount of money you have. And why should you actually wrap your memo here, guys? So depending on where you live, wrapping your memo may help with taxes. It has more use cases because you can actually use it cross-chain. It helps with price action. It slows down panic selling. And most importantly, you will have to hold and stake your wrapped memo, not memo. It has to be wrapped memo if you want to be part of the revenue sharing model and earn the rewards from that. And Wonderland is slowly moving away from the traditional ohm model because everyone knows it's just not sustainable and you can only fight dilution for so long while offering rebase rewards to thousands of people every 8 hours, right? So the main purpose of the high APY at first was honestly just to grow the treasury, was to help with raising money, and it worked. It worked really, really well, right? The treasury is literally worth over $1 billion, guys. So it worked. The way they did that worked, but it's not sustainable in the long term. So the model we're moving towards here is right here, as he says, this will steer towards the VC model in favor of a more transparent and decentralized open investment DAO that will change the world of finance. Essentially, right, what we're moving towards here is just a VC or like a SPAC fund, right? And anyone invested in it will get a share of the money. So for example, the Wonderland treasury right now is currently making around $1 million a day. And that is from low risk yield farming. So that's part of the profit the treasury is getting. And pretty soon here, we are all going to be able to share in that fund as well as any other investments that the Wonderland treasury works, like into the new crypto sports betting platform, as well as another big investment they just announced, which is going to be into a new NFT project here. And this is a gaming project, and there is a Medium article for it right here. So Wonderland invested in this in the seed round for $400,000 for a total of 6.15 million tokens. Now, we won't do a deep dive into what this actually is in this video, but if you want me to make another one about what this actually is, let me know down in the comments below. But essentially what all this is just basically a play to earn kind of NFT crypto gaming in the metaverse. So that will be a pretty cool project. We can dive into that in a future video, but that's not what this video is about right now. Now, the revenue sharing has not actually dropped yet, but in the upcoming weeks, we will have more info on where to go to actually stake our wrapped memo for the revenue sharing. And that's also going to really encourage long-term holding. And the way they're doing this is because the longer you actually have your wrapped memo staked in that revenue sharing model, the more percentage of those rewards you're going to earn over time. So this is obviously going to incentivize people to hold for a lot longer, and the more memo that it's locked up and people aren't selling, the better for the price action of wrapped memo. So for me, I love seeing what Wonderland is doing here. I mean, Daniel and Sifu, you should just go follow them on Twitter, guys. Daniel and Sifu and the rest of the team here, I think they're leading us 100% in the right way. While the crazy APY and rebase and all that is great, it's not sustainable long term, and that kind of ecosystem can literally only last for so long, and we're already seeing the effect of what happens to having those crazy rewards on this DAO and on all other DAOs across like the ecosystem right now. So I completely think that Daniel and Sifu here are completely more than competent leaders here, guys, and they're seriously innovating in the DeFi game. Now, that's why I actually bought in a little bit more. For me, I see this seriously going somewhere in the next year or so, and I'm in it for the long haul. And as far as the CEX exchange, if you're not familiar with what a CEX is, it's basically just a centralized crypto exchange like a Coinbase or Binance, something like that, right? So we do know that we are getting a listing for that. I don't know if it is for wrapped memo or for time, but we are getting a listing for that sometime this week, I believe. So we'll be looking out for more details about that. But that is going to be huge, as that will make it incredibly easy for people to actually go in and buy time or buy wrapped memo. That's going to be a serious game changer and bring in a lot of new investors. So I am incredibly pumped up and excited about that. And I seriously, like I said, I seriously see this going somewhere in the next year or so. I'm in this for the long haul. So what's happening here in the short term with this price action here, right, guys, these massive dips and stuff, is not actually bothering me all that much, because I know we're heading the right way here, making this actual more sustainable model, not just crazy rebase reward token, right? And with $1 billion, literally $1 billion in the treasury, we're making huge strides in some of the investments we're making, and they're not even done yet. There's so many more investments in the pipeline, and the year has literally just barely started. As always, guys, remember though, this is not financial advice. Always go do your own research before you get into any project. I hope you all enjoyed this video, Frog Nation. Diamond hands forever, and I'll see you on the next one.